first in-office consulting program, I literally hired the person to help me fire a team member. What we're facing in 2026 is so different than what we faced in 2020, 2010, 2000, and even 1990.
Yeah. I went into the receptionist and was very nice, very pleasant, but that doctor, I was not feeling his sarcasm nor his jokes.
And we're back, better than ever. I had some coffee this morning.
Did you?
I had an
you were cutting
espresso.
out.
I know, but I was really tired. And just as you can guess now, oh yeah.
It worked.
I've got Meredith with me. I'm excited. She texted me today, said, hey, are we going to record some podcasts? I said, of course. And she said, we're back.
You know what's crazy? I didn't have a coffee today.
I did. I had a meeting this morning, which I need to tell you about a little bit later. And then I went to breakfast. I ate a steak and eggs hash at first watch. Pat called it third watch when she said, let's go to breakfast. And she goes, let's go to third watch. And I'm like, we're not going to third world country. And I'm pretty sure it's first watch. And so we went there. I had a steak and egg hash. It's like 900 calories. I was like, this is like a whole day's worth of calories. It's not, I mean, I eat more than calories than that. But after I was done, I was like, boom, went tired really quickly. Yeah. I don't know. I'm just like all over the place.
Well, I got the dreaded preschool call this morning. Anna Scott's sick. Can you come get her?
Oh, poor
It's okay. I took her to my mom. It was literally right when I got there. But my first call, I was like, I'll call you in 15. And he said, I got the same call on Monday. So that was nice to know that we're not. He said I had to cancel my whole day.
Who did?
One of the doctors I had a strategy call with. But that kind of reminded me, which is what I wanted to talk to you about today, is on like 3 of my last 5 or 6 strategy calls I've had. Doctors have asked us what's different about the 3D Mastermind. And it's so easy to just say everything, but it's truly like they're thinking consulting, right? And we think coaching when we think our 3D Mastermind, but there's some things that are super similar and some things that are super different. So I thought today I could ask you kind of what you thought.
Yeah. I've got a biased view of it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, but you've done all of the things, right?
But can we do something before we get into this week's episode?
Yeah, sure.
I want to bring a new tradition.
Oh, I'm scared.
Okay. I'm going to have you be the patient who leaves a Google review, not for my office, but for another office. And then I'm going to be the dentist in this Google review that responds.
Okay. Do you have one for me right now?
I got it. I want you to read it.
Okay.
This patient has left a 1-star review for my fictitious dental practice named American Dental Care in Conway, South Carolina.
I think everyone knows him if they've been to the retreat by now. Okay. I feel like I need to have a fake voice, but I don't have one. So I'm just going to be old Kelly. I went into this 1-star. I went into this office because I was in so much pain. I called him at 7:00 Sunday evening, and he took my appointment the next day, which I thought was a great thing due to all the other dental offices had a long waiting list. I went into the receptionist and was very nice, very pleasant, but that doctor, I was not feeling his sarcasm nor his jokes. I wanted to feel comfortable and at ease. I felt like he did not care about what kind of pain I was having. He just wanted to hurry up and get it over with. I do not deal with pain. Instead of making sure I was okay, he aggressively forced my right hand to hold onto the chair so he could continue extracting out my tooth. I felt like he wanted me to go through the pain. He didn't want to keep numbing me, like I said. He just wanted to get it over with. I was in tears and very mad at the same time because he was not sympathetic at all. As I'm getting treated, still laying in the chair, the receptionist was trying to collect payment from me while I was still sitting in the chair. In pain, which was very unprofessional. I will not be going back nor recommend him to anyone else.
And now here is
his response.
Yeah, here is the response from American Dental Care in Conway, South Carolina. Now, the rest of the story. You did call at 7 p.m. on Sunday crying in pain, but you didn't come on Monday at 8 a.m. You came around 9 a.m. on Tuesday. I agree that you had pain, not because of us, but rather from your own negligence and stupidity not getting it taken care of sooner. I did tell you to hold on to the arm of the chair because it can be dangerous to you and me when you are swinging your arms around violently. Now, as for pain, You were asked if you were numb several times and you said yes. Then when the tooth was touched, you said no, but then said it was just pressure. You requested to have your mother in the room, and when she tried to hold your hand, you were very rude and short to her. Once you finally allowed me to touch your tooth, it was removed in under 10 seconds. The biggest problem you have is not with me, not with dentistry, but with your own irrational fears of the dentist. If you would actually go more often and when you are not in pain, you could probably learn to actually like going to the dentist. I wish you the best going forward. What do you think?
Talk about a transactional care.
Also,
I think it's really nice they let her mom come back there.
Yeah, I would have said no.
Right.
I love Tommy, who owns the practice.
And they took the call at 7 p.m. on a Sunday.
Like, no joke. And then you said, I'm in severe pain. No, I can't make it Monday. I'll come Tuesday. Anyway. All right. What were you saying to me earlier?
I was just saying that a lot of questions I've gotten on some of my last strategy calls have been around what is our 3D Mastermind?
Yep.
How is it different than a traditional consulting program? And you and I had talked about kind of the 3 different ways, and I thought that would be cool to kind of share with everybody.
Yeah. So before we get into that, let's talk about a couple of disclaimers. I've done consulting from traditional consulting program, lots of them.
Yeah.
Okay. They've all been helpful.
Mm-hmm.
But what I have found, generally speaking, is that the bump was initial. Mm-hmm. It wasn't necessarily long lasting. And, it was just looking backwards. It didn't build the practice I have today. Now, it was a part of building the practice I have today.
Yeah.
But it didn't really build the practice I have today. And that leads to my first point. The reason it didn't build the practice I have today is because they weren't practicing dentists, or they were practicing dentists so long ago.
Yeah.
The type of dentistry that we're doing today, that we're trying to do today, was an afterthought or a non-thought or not possible for them at that time. So I'm not knocking it. I want to be crystal clear. I'm not knocking anybody, okay? Almost all types of coaching, consulting, whatever word we want to use is good. It's always good to have multiple minds looking at your practice, but
and an outsider's view.
Yeah, absolutely, always good. But what I will tell you, having been a practicing dentist, still a practicing dentist, still 100% owner, and dealing with the challenges, is what we're facing in 2026 is so different than what we faced in 2020, 2010, 2000, and even 1990.
Yeah.
And a lot of the people out there coaching, training, never been a dentist, or were a dentist in a different era, or they were team members. And team members, again, you're a team member, Aubrey's a team member, Annie's been a team member. They have an unbelievable value to add, but team members can't.
From a running the business standpoint.
The emotional running the business point, because they're not look, I'm on the line for like a $5 million loan and all of that stuff. And there's a different pressure that goes with that.
For sure.
And I think so much of, you've heard me joke that so much of what we do is dental therapy.
Yeah.
Because I've been there.
Yeah.
I've done it.
You're still there.
I've taught others to do it. And we've taught more than a few to do it, so it's repeatable. And so I think there's a tremendous value in a practicing dentist, a practice owner, being the one to get there. Now, the caveat to this is the consulting coaching program that you choose should mimic the type of business or practice that you want to build. Right. So, for example, I say this very openly. If you're trying to build a Dr. Drill, Fill, and Bill, high hygiene model, 3D Mastermind isn't for you.
Right.
If you're trying to build a model where you are the quote unquote specialist within the practice, you focus on higher end procedures, but yet you still have a good general dentistry base, you're building towards a multiple provider model, and you want to leverage technology and high level clinical skills, we are great for you.
And team members that can lead.
Yeah, and you want to level up and lift up people around you.
Yeah.
But if you want to be the King Kong or the top dog in your practice emotionally, that's not necessarily what we teach.
Right.
You know, we try to teach a holistic environment or a whole team environment.
Yes.
Well,
we're genuinely trying to take things off your plate so that you only have so much bandwidth, right? And so silly things that other people can take off your plate, but sometimes those are the things that make you feel good about yourself. Right?
Yeah, of course. So hopefully, did I do an okay job explaining that, Meredith?
Yeah, I think so. Absolutely. I just wanted to mention, as a team member, in your practice with a consultant, I loved having that outside source, somebody you could confide in, someone who kind of felt like was rooting for you on your team. It never felt like they were against you, but somebody you could openly share things with, especially if you don't have dedicated team leads or something like that. But I think in today's world that can be done virtually.
Yeah.
You can still have that. You can still, through community.
Yeah.
You can still, sometimes that may be somebody in someone else's office that is going, like, I would say like Aubrey and I have each other,
right?
Which is really nice because we go through the same things with you and Sully, right? And so it's something like that. It doesn't necessarily have to be somebody who is.
And to address that, we have that in the mastermind.
Right.
We have a Meredith, we have an Aubrey, we have an Annie, we have our hygiene program, we have our dental assistants. Like we have resource, and that brings up kind of the second point is that we're at 3D Dentists at our core, we're a community.
Yeah.
We're a community of like-minded dentists rowing in a amazing direction that want to peer confidence. I love that word that Ryan Scale used to me with peer confidence. You know, we're trying to create confidence in the group and so
we just want everybody to win.
Yeah. And
we want to all win together though, so we can go do fun things.
You know, one of the things I didn't experience in the 4 different consulting programs I did in my career, and I learned from every one of them. Look,
sure.
my program with Bob Willis early in my career was unbelievably instrumental in much of the dentistry the type of like the communication skills that I developed. Okay, so I'll always be grateful to Bob, to Sally McKenzie, to Holly, to all of these people. I'll always be grateful because I learned from each of them. But that community didn't exist.
Right.
And so for Amos, you've got direct coaching from me and Sully, practicing dentists, owning dentists. You've got direct coaching availability from the team members. That's a Meredith, that's a Aubrey, that's a Annie, that's a hygiene, that's an assistant. Like that community is, and then on top of that, you add
other doctors.
All the other all the other 60, 70, 80, hundreds of dentists that are in our community that are rooting for you, that have been there, that want to see you succeed. Like that is unbelievable.
I mean, I feel like more so now than ever, I'm talking to a doctor who's in our current mastermind or something, and they bring up something, and I'm like, you need to reach out to Adam.
Yeah, let me connect you.
Like, let me introduce you to him virtually because he had the same team member thing.
Rick jokes like same person, different name, right?
We get the same avatars. We have like 10 different avatars, and each group we get like.
Yeah, and so like to me, and then what really happens is, and a side benefit of this is when you reach your practice to that level and you're actually coaching and helping other offices, it levels you up
more. Yeah.
Like it levels you. Like that's my whole career.
That's motivation, right?
But my whole career is from that. It's from being around, helping others. Hey, if I'm going to show my pictures on a screen 500 feet wide,
it better be good.
In front of 7,000 people, my shit better be good, you know? And so, it's just amazing what it does. And just being around that energy, and we're coming off the summit and everything, but being around that energy is amazing, and seeing the practices grow and rooting for your friends, like it's infectious.
Yeah. I mean, the community is so much more than just community. It's the accountability that comes with that too. And sometimes it's good and sometimes it's bad, right?
No, it's not bad. It's tough.
Sometimes it's like you see other people and you're like, if they can do it, I can do it. And
I love that.
And then you can look at someone else and be like, hey, like this was the easiest thing we've done. Like you can do it. And so that's just nice to see.
And look, Like the ability for another assistant to call my assistant and be like,
Right.
hey, we're struggling with this. Like I had that happen just yesterday afternoon.
Right.
Or like for you to get a call from somebody's office manager or a treatment coordinator, for Aubrey to get the call, for Annie to get that call. And now with our new hygiene mastermind that we're launching this year. I mean, it's honestly, it's a full service program. I think it's unmatched in dentistry, but I'm totally biased.
No, I mean, I think it is as a team member too. Like, I don't even know how to explain how much of that is that's worth it. Like, I think just for the team in our advanced program, even if the doctors aren't engaged, it's worth it for the team.
Yeah, like
because I've seen some of these team members from when they started, or they were with their doctors when they started. Like, doctors aside, all of the doctors have grown so much, but it's been really cool to see some of these team members grow and become different people in such a good way.
Yeah, and so that's to me one of the negatives in office consulting programs.
Yeah,
is you're not putting your team around their team's not getting inspired by hundreds of other team members and rooting for each other. It's not just the dentist.
Right.
And when we started Mastermind in 2019, it was dentist only.
Yeah.
And slowly,
forever.
And we've grown because we've seen in our own practices how much farther we get when our team levels up, and then we see out in other practices, and that's how it started with the clinical. It's just.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we still start with doctors, which I think is great we want the doctors to get their vision, their clarity to move forward. But that kind of rolls us into self-leadership. Yeah. And I think all different kinds take a little bit of self-leadership, right? Yeah.
I always say, and this is John Maxwell's line, it's everything rises and falls on leadership, and to me, what is a core thing for me, and I will probably, I never say never, but I will probably never change on this stance, is you learn to lead yourself first. When you learn to lead yourself, and when you learn to evolve into a leader, whether that's an amazing leader, whether that's just a one step better than where you were, lasting change happens. I remember my second consultant I hired in my practice, my first in-office consulting program, I literally hired the person to help me fire a team member. Because I didn't have the guts to do it myself. Or I at that point, I had never fired anybody, right, in my whole life.
Right.
And so I literally hired somebody hired a consultant to fix one person.
Yeah. So you didn't have to have that conversation.
Or I didn't have to grow myself.
Right.
And I know many of you listening have thought this, like, I'll just hire somebody. So if you think that's what we're going to do, I can promise you we're not. Yeah. Okay. Because I'm not going to do it. That's your job. Yeah. Like I'll certainly help you make a decision, help you come to that conclusion, help you try to save that relationship first, but self-leadership. And this kind of brings me to the kind of how I look at practice growth from a coaching consulting point. There's kind of three types. There's do it yourself.
Yeah. Which maybe some of you listeners doing it from listening to the podcast. Kevin's a great example.
Yeah, like
of that.
Do it yourself. It works.
If you have the dedication, the time, the leadership.
Yeah, absolutely. If you're going to do it, if you're surrounded by great people, you're a driver. Totally. You can we put the information.
You want to work 5 days a week.
Yeah, we
you
put the information out for free. Yeah. It's do it yourself. The third model, and we'll come back to the middle. The third model is done for you.
Yeah.
Where you hire somebody to come into your office. There's pluses and minuses to that. Or the absolute extreme level of done for you is you partner with a DSO or private equity who claims they're going to do it for you, and you just focus on the dentistry, which is in 80% of the situation, total lie. And then to me, the happy medium in this, okay, the do-it-yourself essentially costs nothing. You listen to the podcast, it costs nothing. The done for you,
probably a lot slower though.
Yeah, absolutely. The done for you, it costs you, on average, $80 to $100K a year, or selling your soul to a group, and you think they're going to do it for you, but then now you're just working for somebody else. But then the model in between is the done with you, and to me, that's what I love in what we do. It's done with you.
Yeah,
like we coach, we learn, we work through the thought process. we ask good questions like, why are you thinking this? What problem are you trying to solve? What happens if you do this? What happens if you do that? What would you advise your friend if they came to you with this? And it's amazing the light bulbs that go off. And then when you can look at somebody and say, hey, did you see my thought process through this problem? Next time this comes up, I want you to walk through with me. I'm always available for you, but use this thought process through it. And then what happens is they go back and they're like, oh, that led me to see this or that. And that's when, that becomes lasting change when it's done with you.
Yeah.
And that's why, we don't go into offices.
Right.
We do in person, we do virtual, we do group, we do individual. It's really such an amazing way. I'm totally biased, but
I don't think you're that biased because I've been with you to a lot of CE and other different things. Like anytime you have somebody that has a CE, you're like, hey, let's go support them. Yep. Let's go see them. Let's go, just register us. Let's go. And that's what I love. But I love to learn. So we'll go, but it's just different.
Yeah.
And it's hard to replicate what people get out of when we just say oh, it's just different.
Yeah.
But for these team members, when people start sending their team members to boot camps, things change. When they hear this from other hygienists, other team members who are doing things, who have worked in your practice, worked in Sully's practice, they want to be like that. They want to do more. You can't be the only one in a room of 60 and say, I don't have enough time to do this. And everyone around you say, we're all doing it this way.
Yeah, and we weren't before.
And we weren't, yes.
Yeah.
And none of us were doing it before. All of us have learned that way too. And implemented.
Or to be able, let's pretend you're one of the attendees in the room. You say, hey, how do we get over this hump? Instead of me telling you how, I say, who in here has gotten over the hump too?
Right.
Tell Meredith how you got over the hump.
Right.
Here's where we started. This is what we did. And I think it's even more powerful when it doesn't come from the preacher in front of the room, but it comes from one of the other everyday team members, in the room that says, yes, I didn't believe it at first. I fought it fought it. Then, we just push through and the results are amazing.
Or even I've been in dentistry 20 years.
Yeah.
And we've done this. I can't believe we haven't always done it this way. No. I mean, radios, think about that. How much pushback
financing,
people give.
like all of this stuff. It's not rocket science at the end of the day.
Yeah.
So the community, the self-leadership,
yeah.
The done with you,
yeah.
The practicing dentists, those are the things. And the last thing I'll bring up is the other part that really makes us different from other business training is while our mastermind is very focused on the business of dentistry, the business part of your practice, what I like to say is it's the business of clinical excellence. Mm-hmm. It's how do we create a business that supports clinical excellence? Not how do we make our business that supports business profit at the cost of predictability and enjoyment and learning new skills. We truly combine the business training, the clinical training, and we kind of mold it all together because at the end of the day, I'm a practicing dentist. Yeah. I'm doing I just went to the office this morning to see somebody. We're doing dentistry. We're dealing with, I had a temp that fell off. There's things that happen, and we're doing dentistry.
One of the things I hear a lot is dentists say, I still love dentistry. Mm-hmm. I still want to do dentistry, but it's gotten chaotic and they're not doing the dentistry that they love. Yeah. And so it's creating this resentment where they're not loving it as much as they once were. It's leading to burnout, right? And so we're not in the business of, I think some of the other business programs are teaching dentists to just become the business owner and not work clinically at all. They don't want to be chairside, just own multiple practices. And that may be for some people, but a lot of the dentists I talk to are like, I truly love dentistry. I want to do it. And I'm like, but you want to do the cases you want to do. Yeah. So we want you to specialize in the clinical cases that you enjoy and you like and have the time to do them. But if you're so busy doing everything else, you don't even get to do the cases you like.
Yeah.
And so I think that's...
And more now, I love and hate the same, more now than ever, right?
Yeah.
It's with everything that's happened in the business of dentistry, we have to balance the business part and the clinical excellence. It's no longer optional. Look, when I started, being an excellent dentist was enough. Mm-hmm. When I started, being mediocre at business was enough, or not even hell, being bad at business was okay.
I talk to people who are like, I've never ran reports.
Yeah. And that was okay.
Yeah.
But it's not okay anymore.
Right.
Like I was sharing this with my team members this week, like, because I wanted them to understand why I get irritable at times. I said, listen, we are doing a pro fee for $90.
You probably need to tell me this too.
And it cost us $85 to do to do it.
Yeah.
So we make $5. And so when we tell a patient, oh, we don't have to worry about your deductible, I'm like that kills us.
Right.
Like now we're going in the hole.
Right.
And so I'm trying to get them to understand why it's happening. And what was amazing, like another teaching moment is the light bulb started going off in the office. Like I saw team members saying, oh, okay, now we get it. It's hey. And I was like, listen, if the patient don't want to pay the deductible, they can go somewhere else.
Yeah.
Like we've reached that point where it's okay. We're 3 hygienists. We need to be 4 hygienists. And I'm happy being 3. We can just thin the herd.
Yeah.
And
to this day, as a treatment coordinator, a light bulb moment for me was when we reviewed like cost of goods. We should probably do a whole podcast.
We should. Like
value of time and cost of goods. It will change the way people present dentistry.
Well, then we'll do that podcast next. So what else do we want to cover on consulting versus the 3D Mastermind?
I think that the fact that we've had hundreds of practices come through, they're using these, people will say, oh, I'm not in Brentwood. I'm not in North Raleigh. I'm like, well, one, our patients don't live in our parking lot. Our patients drive from all over. Yeah. But we have, I would say some of the practices that do best with us are super rural. So we have practices, fee for service, mostly PPO, in-network doctors, practices, small teams to large teams. And these systems work for everyone. So when one person says, or one team member says, this just isn't going to work for our practice. In my market, this
doesn't work.
This just isn't going to work for our practice. I'm like, it will though. Let's just try.
We've got offices doing amazingly well in rural 2,000 person towns, in big cities like Nashville, Raleigh, XYZ, like fee for service offices, PPO offices, in God's waiting room, Florida offices, we see it all. And yes, look, let's end with this. There is a prototypical office that is best suited for Mastermind. Okay. Look,
I was just going to ask you that. Yeah. What do you think is like the gold standard?
Like it's going to be number one, a dentist who wants to win.
Yeah.
Okay. Not just says, doesn't just say it, but literally feels it in their heart that I want to win. There's more for me. I'm ready, willing, and able to go to war and do the work. I just need some support and some guidance.
Yeah. I feel like we hold people's hand pretty good, but you definitely still have to put in the effort.
Yeah, absolutely. So look, it is not a done for you program.
Yeah.
It is a done with you program. So number one
I'm gonna start using that.
Yeah. I really believe it.
Yeah.
Remember my saying is you get out of it what you put into it.
Yeah.
Nothing more, nothing less.
Yeah.
Okay. If you put nothing in, you get nothing out. If you put a lot in, you're going to get a lot out.
Yeah.
Okay.
Squeaky wheels.
So number one, it requires a dentist who is ready and desires and feels it that they want to make that change. We're not for everybody.
Yeah.
Okay. I want to be clear.
One thing you've said in the past that I love that's hard for me to tell people is, you'll say, oh, they need Mastermind so bad, but they don't know it because they don't have that disruption. Yeah. And so I just want to be clear that I always tell people everyone that's coming into Mastermind is already successful.
Yeah. That's the other thing. Number two is you're already reasonably successful.
Yeah. You just need that disruption or that push.
The offices that don't do well are the offices that are financially unstable.
Yeah.
Because look, with Mastermind, we want to make changes.
Yeah. It's a mindset shift.
Some of those changes, A, cost a little bit of money.
Yeah.
B, some of those changes sometimes mean we're going to take a step backwards for a little bit.
Slow down to speed up. That might be the hardest.
So you have to be usually we're not for startups. Okay.
Yeah.
We're not for practices doing $500,000-$600,000 a year. That's just not our business model, right? It's not where we're at. We're for those people, just not yet.
Yeah.
And so that I would tell you that's a second characteristic is, hey, I'm doing 800, 900 million plus a year. I want to get to 2 million.
Yeah.
Okay. Or I want to get to 1.8 million or XYZ.
Or I'm doing 3. I want to get to 5.
Yeah.
We've had quite a few of those.
Or 5 that want to get to 7,
Yeah.
you know? And so like that would be the second thing is where they're at volume, revenue wise.
Yeah.
The third major thing I would probably say is you either have or are desiring an advanced clinical skill set. Mm-hmm. If you're happy being Dr. Drill, Fill, and Bill,
want to do it all.
Not for us.
Right.
Okay. If you're like, hey, I want to learn implants, I want to learn cosmetics, I want to leverage technology. And I want to, like what I hear all the time is I want to do it all, but at some point you can't be the Cheesecake Factory, you know? Right. So those will probably be the 3 characteristics. Okay. You're ready to win, ready to put the hard work in, roll up your sleeves, do the work and win. Sometimes it means difficult decisions, emotional decisions. Okay. Number 2, you're in a place of revenue where you're like, A, you can afford the program. B, you can afford to make some of the changes and things like that. And then C is I either have or am willing to get the skill sets that are going to move my practice forward. Because if you're a Dr. Drill, Fill, and Bill, the main way that you're going to get moving forward is going to be by doubling the size, tripling the size. And that's not what we're for. That's not what we're after. That model works.
Yeah.
Absolutely works.
Yeah, you can live a great life, just different.
Absolutely. It's just not what we're after.
Yeah.
So those are what I would tell you the 3 main things that we look at.
Yeah. So. Well, I think that's a great comparison of what makes us different, kind of what sets us apart. And if it sounds like this is something you'd be interested in, we'd love to have you.
Yeah. All you got to do is reach out to myself or Meredith. We'll schedule a strategy call. She'll be happy to sit down with you and talk to you. And ask you questions and see if it's a right fit, answer some questions. You'll learn something. It's like a mini consulting session at the end of the day. But yeah, listen, a couple of things. If you're interested in what we do at 3D Dentist, this is a community you want to be a part of. We'd love to have you. The easiest and fastest way to enter our family is to go on your phone, go to your app store, search 3D Dentist. You'll see our community app there. Download it, free to join, get in. Number 2, if you think I should drink coffee more often before doing podcasts, please send me a message. Okay, I'd like to know. And the third and last thing I'll ask is, listen, if you love what we've done for you, what we do for you, or you love the podcast, the number one thing you can do for me is to write us a Google review or an Apple Podcast review. Does Spotify do reviews? I don't know.
Yeah, I think so.
Or a Spotify review so that we can grow our brand and our awareness of this podcast. I love each and every one of you. I want you to succeed. There is more in you than you realize. And dentistry doesn't have to be unhappy. Dentistry should be super happy. Love you guys. See you on the next episode.